use the grass, which is also not cheap, I understand. But now, the grass has several disadvantages. Number one, the insects, when you are spraying, they hide under that very grass which you've put. And then you can spray them. You can't access them. So after you spray, they just come and check around, go back to eating what they were eating before. Now, tomorrow you come and you are saying these chemicals are not working. No. You give them where to hide. Yeah. Now, other than that, the grass rots very quickly. You put them when you're starting to farm the tomatoes. By the time the tomatoes are ready for harvest, they're actually sitting on soil because the grass has, it rotten away, and now it's part of the manure. Now, with the mulching paper, this paper is made, is UV treated as well. Okay. So it is not affected, it's not spoiled by the rain and the weather. Okay. Now, when you are covering the ground, you cover before planting, not after. So you cover the ground, and then especially those of us who have drip irrigation. So the drip irrigation, you first lay the drip irrigation, you prepare your garden, you lay the drip irrigation.
So within the drip irrigation?
Inside, yes. Then you cover with mulching paper outside. So then you come, you bore holes, you pierce some holes where you're going to put your plants. Okay. All right? Now, the black side faces down. Why? To retain the ground temperature. Okay. Crops don't like very cold, soil. So if you can be able to retain the temperature down there, the better for the crop. Then on the upper side, you have a refractive color. Why? To reflect, like now for us here in the central, to reflect the heat back or heat away from the soil. But at the same time, this color reflects back the light back to the plants under the leaves of the plants. Okay. That has some great advantages because, number one, the insects which hide under the leaves, okay, they hide under the leaves because how they can tell that this is under the leaf is because there isn't much light like it is on the upper side. But now this color reflects the light back to the lower side of the leaves. Yes. Now, the insect who was under here now becomes very uncomfortable because you have now light coming from down. And of course, for the instinct of the insect is that if I can see this light, the enemy can also see me. Yeah. So they are very uncomfortable. They go on the upper side, there is even more light. So they end up abandoning your garden. And they are like, okay,
let's leave it.
Let's leave this one. Then the other thing is that when you are spraying, let's assume you are spraying your insects. I mean, the insects that may be there in the garden, all right? Now, even if the insect falls on the cover, I mean, when you're spraying, some chemical would splash on the cover, and they'll just die as well. So there is no hiding when you have this mulching paper. And don't forget, since it's a UV cover, it's a UV treated material, it's not being affected by the weather. And number two, whatever water is inside the soil is in the soil, is not going to evaporate. The only way you lose water when you have this kind of material is something we call transpiration. Transpiration is where the plant loses the water through the spores into the atmosphere. So the plant seeks more water from the ground. And as it is picking more water, it brings more food. And as it brings more food, it grows better. So you'll find the one who has this paper, his crops are looking much better, yet you put the same amount of manure and the same amount of labor. But because of that science behind it, that the water that is there in the soil is not being lost by evaporation, is only lost through the plant breathing. So that is the essence of this paper. This paper is 1.7 meters width, and one roll is 1,000 meters. 1,000 meters. Wow. 1 kilometer, in other words. So by the time you cover 1 kilometer in your garden, hey, you have covered quite a big chunk of land.
Now, what about when we talk of fertilizer, this word, and manure?
Now, you see, when you're doing soil preparation, you're supposed to put in your manure first. Then you mix with the soil. Any other additional, what we would call it, like supplementing, you either do through what we call fertigation. Fertigation is fertilizer and irrigation combined. Now we have all those fertilizers which are soluble fertilizers. Soluble meaning they can mix in water. They can mix with water more or less like the way you mix sugar in your cup. Now, after that, you release the water, it goes into the garden. So it goes with the fertilizer. The other way is to use to apply fertilizer foliarly all through the leaves. There are fertilizers which, now there are very many, they are for foliar application. In other words, you spray the plant and the plant gets the food. Yes, they are there. And if one doesn't know, please come to Task Farm and we'll show you some of those things. We have even a sample garden, like you can see, where we have a few tomatoes planted, and where the ground is covered with this material, just for you people to see so that you can understand how it's done. And that is the importance of a mulching paper. And actually, once you use the mulching paper, you'll never go back the other side. Because number one, there is no weeding to do. The weeds can't germinate. How will they grow? So the only work you have is to take care of the plant. If it's tomato, maybe to tie it a bit, more or less of massaging the plant. Now, not more again weeding, scratch the ground, water all that is removed by this material.
Okay, briefly, I wanted us to look at crop protection because when we was talking about the UV covers, we was talking about crop protection. The reason why I brought in the mulching paper, I just wanted to let you know that as Task Farm Uganda, we have nursery beds here. We do nursery management. If you have seeds and you don't know how you can help yourself out, bring them to Task Farm.
We shall raise them for you.
Yes, they'll raise them for you, or we shall raise them for you. You'll just give us just a small penny of money.
100 shillings.
Yes, and you'll take your seedlings when they're healthy and nice looking.
You just concentrate on preparing the garden.
Here, after the mulching paper, we are still looking at the materials we have for greenhouse and solar dryer. We are going to come back with the crops or the nursery later. Let's continue with the solar dryer and greenhouse material. Okay, just like I told you, we are still looking at the quality materials we brought for you at Task Farm. When you look at this net and this one, and this is white, this is black, I even don't know how we use them. But at Task Farm Uganda, we want to show you the best quality of the nets that we bring here, the ones that will help you in your solar dryer and the greenhouse. Lawrence is going to be taking us through where do you use these nets? Yes, Lawrence.
Okay, now this one, we call it an insect net.
Okay.
Its main purpose is to keep insects off a greenhouse. In other words, yes, we call them insect net, but they actually to protect insects from entering into the greenhouse. Because basically a greenhouse is a protected area that we use for farming. We would call it the factory of the plants where they produce, let's say tomatoes, they produce tomatoes. It's the factory of tomatoes. So to prevent, insects and all sorts of pests from outside, because you see we are still in the same earth, So to protect the crops, we use this net. It's a HDPE net.
Okay.
So which means it's not going to be affected by weather. It's going to be there for years and years until you get tired of your greenhouse and you throw it away and build another one.
Okay.
This net is for that purpose.
What happens if you don't use this net in the greenhouse?
Now, you'll find that the holes, the size of these holes, are designed to even keep off what we call a white fly. A white fly is a very tiny butterfly-like insect, but very tiny and very destructive. Now, if you don't use this net and you use a mesh, for example, you want to keep some birds off, not even all the birds. So, the purpose of this net is designed specifically to keep the insects off. You understand? Now, if you compare this net with this net, you realize that the holes here are much bigger than the size of the holes here.
Do we use all these ones do we use all these types in the greenhouse?
Now, it's different purposes.
Okay.
Now, this is mainly for vegetables and flowers, for people who are doing vegetables and flowers. But if you are doing trees, now we come to this. We call them shade nets.
Okay. Oh.
This is a 75% shading. You can feel the sun here, but when you put the hand here, you feel a little cooler.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
So it's shading the sunlight, the amount of sunlight that gets to the crop, while allowing sun rays to pass through. You understand?
Yes.
So that's where it gets the word shade net from.
Before we go on.
Yes. This one doesn't shade.
Okay.
This one doesn't shade, while this one does shade the amount of heat
Okay.
that comes to the crop. You understand? This one, sometimes we use them in the greenhouse on the inside, especially when you're dealing with the nursery, to shade the young ones. You get it?
Yes.
But also when we are dealing with tree nurseries, we use these. Let's say like coffee nurseries, we use this to reduce the amount of heat that gets to the crops.
If I use this one, what happens?
This one does not shade. This protects only the insects.
Okay.
But this one,
So the sun will come as it is.
as it is,
directed to the plants.
yes.
Don't use this in the shade.
This is not for shading,
not for
the
shading.
heat, yes.
Okay. Then
But this is
I
for
have seen
shading.
this type of nets, and they, you find that someone built a structure.
And uses this kind of net. No, it's not this one. It would be too expensive for him. They use what they call PVC nets. Now, those nets are made to last for like maximum of 6 months. After that, you touch them like this, they just go, they just tear. But this one, you are talking about 6-10 years.
Are these the very nets we use for our cars?
Yes.
Like for creating
You see, those
shade
ones
for
are
our cars?
HDPE, which are treated to be able to handle weather. But even in the cars one, you have to be careful. There are some which are PVC. Yes, which may not work for us here. And unfortunately, when you go to buy, you cannot tell unless the person selling tells you what is happening. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the difference
and
with the
what
nets.
happens for some of them that peel off?
Still, that's a different material. But that material is not necessarily for farming. No.
Because you'll find these ones doing
It has peeled off.
for coffee.
They have used the material and then it is peeling off.
Yes, and it's
Now,
peeling
that thing that is peeling off is the PVC, which means that was not the right
Lot of
material.
quality.
It was not the right material.
Okay.
They bought the wrong material.
Yeah, it's only a task farm where you'll get genuine people to explain to you exactly what nets you should use, which one is genuine, which one is not.
Yes.
I've just told you. I had a friend who had a nursery for, is it called nursery also for coffee?
Yeah, it's still a nursery.
Yeah, and this, something black was peeling
It was
off.
peeling off. That
Go
means
up.
that was the wrong
Yeah.
wrong material.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So please come to Task Farm.
And you get them.
come and get quality materials, please.
Yes.
Okay. Right now, I want us to look at some of the other materials that you haven't seen yet.
Yes.
Okay.
These, we call them profile channels. And this is what we use when we are fixing the UV covers or the nets on the structure frame. Let's assume you've made your structure using wood or using steel galvanized materials or plastic pipes. This is what you fix. You fix this one on the structure frame, and then you bring the material. Let's assume this is our cover, all right? This is our cover. It's coming like this. Maybe the other side is the top. Then this profile is fastened on the frame, even if it's a wooden one or metallic one. And then you bring this wire. We call this one a wiggle wire. Now this wire, you just hoop it in like that, like you can see like that. And that UV, that material is properly fixed. Not even wind can get it out of there. You get it? So that is how we fix those materials. Now, these channels, we have them in two different sizes. We have 0.45 millimeter. That is the thickness of the channel. And the length is 4 meters. We have them in 4 meters length. The width, we are talking about, just a minute, we are talking about the thickness here. Okay, this is 0.45, and then I have a 0.7, which this is 0.7, which is much heavier than the other one. This 0.7, we use them mainly for solar dryers, especially the ones where we are drying chicken droppings, because chicken droppings are more stubborn and they corrode iron very quickly. And so this 0.7 works better there. It is more firmer and more heavier metal than the 0.4. Now the 0.4 will work well for greenhouses because there you don't have corrosion as much as you would expect in a dryer, especially for chicken droppings. Each profile is 4 meters. However, because of transportation, we cut them into 2 meters. So when we are selling to you one profile, we would sell to you two pieces of 2 meters to make one complete profile. Then we also have these tensioned wiggle wires, which are coated, not naked. They are coated, tensioned wiggle wires. We also have them in 2 meters length. So one set of profile comes with 2 pieces of wiggle wires, and that is what we use to fasten the materials, either the net or the UV, onto the structure frame. I think they can also see some of the videos where we have used to that UV, and you see it remains tightly fixed on the structure, and even the wind cannot get it off. And when you want to change the material, you simply unlock the channels and just put a new cover, and the structure continues. However, when you nail, let's say, a piece of wood, you nail a cavera on it. Now, the water will follow that nail into the piece of wood, onto the piece of wood, and then the piece of wood will just start rotting. And that means that the structure you've built, you give it a maximum of 4 years and it starts falling apart, just because the water is corroding. I mean, is making the wood to rot. So those are some of the materials that we have for holding the structure. Then we also have what we call crane cables. Now, these crane cables, we use them for wind support. That is, if we are building a structure in a place which is very windy, we come up with, we use these crane cables. You can see them, they are heavy duty crane cables, and then we tie them onto the structure to reinforce the structure, just in case the place where we are building is a windy place.
Thank you so much for watching my YouTube channel, TikTok. Please, thank you for following. And we have been looking at the quality material that we brought for you farmers and those who are doing greenhouse solar dryer as a business. Task Farm is the only point you should get all those quality, and actually they'll give you advice on which one to use. So here where we are standing, we are back to our friends of the crop. And down here, we have brought for you the planting medium. Call it pit moss. It's very soft if you look at it. And when it comes to water, it doesn't retain water like soil. For those ones who are doing our open nursery, please, it is high time to switch. When you look at this, we have our seedling trays. This one is the big size. It has 66 holes. That means it is going to carry for you 66 plants or seedlings. This one here is 200 holes inside here. So you're very sure that you're going to get your 200 seedlings here. And the reason why we use pit moss, we are very sure that we are going to get all our seedlings out. If it is percent, 99% of our seedlings will come out. So right now we're just showing you how we use our pit moss. We put the seeds inside and then we cover. We cover with like that. Then when we water, the seed gets enough water. The rest of the water goes through. Compared to the person who is doing open nursery, your soil sometimes it ends up hardening, and time for removing, or time for the time the seed grows up, you can't even have it well. And here we are very sure that 99% of our seeds will come out. So we are going to the nursery, we are going to our greenhouse, and we shall show you some of the results of the seeds that we have been planting here.
Okay, now you've seen how we handle we call it planting medium, the medium which we use to plant these seeds. Remember, we are not using soil, we use something called soilless medium. In other words, a substrate that supports germination and encourages growth of the roots so that they can grow within that area that you've given it and within the substrate that we've given it. So that's the material that we are using here. This is not soil, it's the planting medium. Other people call it pit moss, and there are different names for it from different places and parts of the world. Now, after we have seeded, or we have planted our seeds in the trays, we label the trays because here at Task Farm we are growing seeds for different people. So we label the seeds depending on the person or on the type of the seed that we have planted. And then they come here on this row bed. This is where we put our seeds after planting them. Then, given the different type of seedlings that we have, tomatoes take about 4 days to germinate. Pepper takes about 9 to 11 days to germinate. For example, if you look here on my right, you see some peppers which already started to germinate. Some have already come out, others are just peeping out. So sometimes, depending on the shelf life, they may not come out at the same rate, but they will eventually come out. And then once they come out, then we can start bringing them to the upper trays, the upper shelves. Now, in these upper shelves here, we bring them here and we treat them differently depending on the age of the seedling. Tomatoes come out here after roughly 1 week. That's when they come up. And then peppers take a bit longer, and different vegetables really take different times. For example, these peppers, which are about 9 days old, they were planted on the same day with the peppers, but now for the tomatoes, you can see they've already started forming the leaves. And then now we can start counting. Now 2 more weeks, and then they are out of here and they go into the field, and they make money for the farmer. Here there are tomatoes which have been here for 2 weeks. They are remaining with 1 more week, and on the second week we just let them go. So this is an example of these ones. We call these leaves are not called, they are not true leaves. These are the true leaves. And once the tomato has about 4 true leaves, it's ready to go to the field. And it can be able to now be taken to the field out in the sun after we have handled it here in the nurseries. Now, what we do here, when you come to us, you may come with your seeds, if you have your seeds, or you have maybe come up with your seeds from wherever the source, and we plant the seeds for you, and we don't charge more than 100 shillings per seed. So, and once you give us your seed, you just walk away. You'll just come and pick now a mature seedling ready to transplant. Maybe I just show you an example of how a seedling looks like when it is ready for transplanting. Let me pick some. Okay, now these are peppers that have been here for a while, and you can see this is for Sezibwa, some farm in Sezibwa. Now this is a seedling that is just, they are going to be taken next week. So now we have started the process of hardening, but you can see how the roots have colonized the entire place, and they are holding onto the substrate that we planted them in. And now this seedling, once it is taken to the field, it does not start, like the normal way we do in our nurseries, where we uproot and the roots first are cut off, and then we take to the field and they start developing new roots. No, here all the roots are intact. So once you put it in the soil, it starts from there and just grows on to the crop that you would want. So that's the advantage of planting or seeding your seeds in seedling trays. And once you come here, you either carry the tray to your garden and then bring us our empty trays, or you come with the box, or we can pack them actually in boxes for you. such that when you are taken to the field, you don't have to really, have this worry, oh, my seedlings, they're going to die along the way. No. It comes out as you have seen it, and comes out with all its roots, so it's not going to die. It's not going to die. This can even stay 3 days outside the tray without dying, because all the roots are intact. So the plant literally is intact. It has zero damage, so it's not going to die. So please do come to Task Farm. We should be able to educate you more on this and much, much more, because we cannot talk everything today. But when you come here, we shall be able to answer all your questions. We can be able to teach you more on how to go about this. And we can even be able to, if you don't know, maybe you don't know where to get certain seedlings or certain vegetables, we can be able to source them for you. Even if it means importing, we shall import them for you. So please don't shy away. Come by. We are in Lubaga, Kabusu, just next to Lubaga roundabout, the Kabusu roundabout. And if you can't find it or you can't reach us, you can just call us. Our number, the office line, is 0703 490 927. The MTN is 788 500 968. Please reach out to us. We shall be able to help you. We shall serve you, and you'll enjoy. Thank you.